Welcome back to Community Conversations. I'm your host, Steve Mantis, and my guest today is Don Rusnak, the MP for Thunder Bay, Rainy River. Oh my gosh, I was about to say Superior North. Oh my gosh. So Don, now you made the move to get into federal politics, and you won. You're in government. You started thinking, okay, can we actually improve? You were on the break. We're talking about building communities. Mm-hmm. How do you do that? How in your role as our member, how do you help build those communities?
It's partnerships. So you have to form those relationships with the members of provincial parliament in the province, ministers within the provincial government, and your municipal partners. So building those relationships as a starting point. And we've been doing that, I've talked to you a little bit before, been doing that over the last year, meeting with town councils and seeing what their priorities are. And ultimately, the Prime Minister says all the time is that those are the people that know how to make the decisions on the ground, and the decisions should not be made from Ottawa. We can lay out a general framework for how we'd like to see cities operate and design the programs to kind of push municipalities in that direction, but it's ultimately the cities on the ground that have to make those decisions, the decisions to make their communities more bike friendly, to make housing more affordable and housing in areas where people work. So when I lived in Winnipeg, and for a brief time worked downtown, I lived downtown and I worked downtown and I walked to work. One, it saved me money. It was a lot healthier. And I met people downtown. There'd be certain people I'd see all the time. So those things help make communities safer. A byproduct of being healthier, cheaper, and meeting people along the way made a community, right? And that's what our government wants to do with infrastructure funding and social infrastructure funding, green infrastructure funding, and then the basics, water, wastewater, and the stuff that keeps cities moving and going forward.
Well, it's interesting because I talk to city councilors, and they're going, geez, the feds are downloading, the province is downloading, we've got more responsibility, but we don't have the resources. Mm-hmm. They've got the ability to tax people. We just get a little property tax, that's about it. So how can the federal government address that issue? I mean, I know right now the city's in a bit of a concern because of all the costs and the social programs that we started the discussion around helping those folks who have mental health or addictions or problems with the justice system. How do we put that preventive piece in place when the city has no money?
The downloading started years and years ago, probably when I was in high school.
Yeah, sure, 20 years, 25 years.
When Chrétien was in and Paul Martin was handing more responsibilities to the municipalities and the provinces have continued to do that. Again, one with the thought that municipalities can make better decisions on things on the ground. Some of that I know has been taken back by the province. And ultimately, as the federal government, I don't think bureaucrats in Ottawa should be making on-the-ground decisions here in Thunder Bay. So some of that isn't going to change. But what we need to do is find ways to fund and do programs better for cities and municipalities. So I was in Rainy River 2 weeks ago speaking with the town council there, and one of their issues is they have huge infrastructure projects, huge for them. In Thunder Bay they wouldn't be so huge, or in Toronto they wouldn't be so huge, but a $4.5 million sewer and water project and street rehabilitation project. What they found is, one, to apply for the funds, they don't have an engineering division. So they can't sometimes apply for the funds because they can't do all the paperwork that's needed before. Two, that if there's flexible funding, they can buy equipment and do a lot of the work themselves with their existing staff. Which is what they did in one of the projects. And the benefit of that is they have people from the community, it's a small community, working in the community, and there's pride in that, right? So I'm not saying that contractors often just throw stuff down, but they take the extra time to do things.
Well, if you live there, you pay more attention. Your neighbors know where you live, and they know where they can come complain to you. You're here to do a job, and then you're gone. Well, who knows?
So we're looking at ways that we can work with small municipalities and have our infrastructure dollars roll out better, and so that they can use the dollars better and more effective in their communities. Those are all discussions we're having now, and the infrastructure department's having with our provincial colleagues. The Prime Minister and the Infrastructure Minister heard loud and clear from small municipalities that the federal government needs to be a bigger partner. It can't be a third like it was under the previous government. So under most projects now, I think we'll fund for small communities up to 50% of the infrastructure cost. And that's a huge burden lifted off municipalities. We have a situation in Atikokan right now where they started construction on a wellness center, and it's a $6.2 million project. There was supposed to be a FedNor contribution of one, or they were hoping for a FedNor contribution of $1 million, and unfortunately it was denied. So we're working to try to at least get some of that contribution back, and I'm working with infrastructure to see if I can get infrastructure funding for the town of Atikokan for that project.
You know, it's interesting you talk about the funding ratios. Okay, so capital, maybe the feds can kick in 50%, but we look over that downloading time. We had the CAP program where the feds put in 50% of the money. Now it's down to about 20%, and this is for social services. This is the envelope that funds all those programs that help in the community. That's the crunch. You know, I mean, that's what I hear from city councilors. If we fix the roads or the sewers, people understand that. But what about for helping the people? It's a harder sell.
It is, and how government sells spending money on helping an individual is a lot more difficult, as you say, than fixing the sewer and water, stuff they can see. Ultimately, over the long run, you're going to see the benefits in helping that individual with mental health problems or substance abuse problems, because you're going to see a reduced crime rate. That's our government starting to focus on that, working with DSAB. I know here Patty's been very active working with the Social Service Administration Board on how we can better work with them to fund social housing and other programs. So it's happening. It's not happening as fast as some people would like. Of course, our government likes to consult, so that takes time. We're having a couple consultations this week again, because we believe, and our government believes, that it's very important to hear from Canadians and hear from the people in the ridings about what's important to them.
We all need more time, and we're out of time today with our show. I'm so sorry, Don. I got like 5 big questions still to ask. I hope you come back.
Absolutely
sometime.
will. Yep.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks to the audience for watching. We'll put on the screen contact information for Don if you want to get a hold of him or his office. Thank you very much, and stay safe.